So I'm going to turn it back to my ordinary stitch, which is a number, I usually use a 5, but you use whatever you use ordinarily. And then I'm just going to grab a couple of pins. And I've got my 2 pieces of skirt for the doll here. I'm going to lay them together so that the inside is the so that'll be your top side of your skirt. The side you'll see, this will be the inside of the skirt. So you want the 2 insides, one on the bottom, one on the top, and we're just going to stitch from here. Okay, so I'm going to pop it underneath my 1/4 inch foot here, like that. There. Like that. And then I'm going to go backwards and forwards, and you can put a pin in it if you would like to. Just going to go backwards and forwards, and then back, right up onto that placket piece, and then come all the way down. And then we're going to go back again, just do that back stitch there. Lift that off a moment. Okay, I'm going to change my foot. Stuck underneath my foot. Oh yeah, there's a bobbin stuck underneath it. I'm going to grab my foot with the wider mouth. Make sure you put a wider mouth foot on. Don't do any zigzag work with that 1/4 inch foot, otherwise you'll just break your needle. And needles are quite expensive, so you don't really want to do that. So I'm going to change my settings now to a zigzag. Okay, if you wanted to put a French seam into this, you could, but I'm just going to do a zigzag, and this will show you how to do the zigzag if you want to. I'm going to put it right onto that placket, and I'm going to do a zigzag there. And you can change the size of your zigzag stitch so it's the right size for your thing. So we're doing 1/4 inch, you can have your zigzag stitch larger or smaller so that it only does that much. Okay, so let's just cut all that, and that will keep that nice and neat and stop all those ends from fraying. So that's that. Okay, so now we're going to gather up all our skirt pieces here. I'm going to take 2 ends, and I like to just grab the 2 ends with my quick on Bic, my seam ripper here. There you go. I've got those 2 separated out. So you've got 2 front ones, 2 back ones. Okay, and you're just going to come along, holding on to them, just the 2, and you're going to gather the whole way along like that. Okay, hopefully you can see this. So you're just going to come along, you're going to gather the whole thing the whole way along. And you want the 3 pieces for the back, and you want the 2 pieces for the front. Oh, whilst we're on here, we might as well do our hem. So we're going to do our hems next. Okay, so you've got your nice stitches like that. You're going to just fold that to one side, and you're going to come on and you're going to do the hem of your skirt. Okay, so just going to come on, and you're going to go, make sure you go into that plain stitch. Take it off the zigzag stitch, put it onto that plain stitch, and we're just going to come and run across our hem, which we'd already folded down with the iron. Okay, so just come along and do straight over like that, back stitch. We're going to come along and run all the way along. Okay, let's run all the way. Oops, caught my finger there and I stopped it from moving. That's better. There we go. So all the way along with that one. There. Right. Trying to keep my hand out of the way so that you can see better. Okay, that's that one. Then we'll grab our long one. But we're not going to join the pieces together until after we have put those ruffles on. Okay, those 2 side pieces. So we'll do the ruffles first. Oh, we'll be joined by the dog. Hello, Sophie. So come on, do back stitch. Okay, I'm going to go all the way to the end. If you would prefer to do it in the needle down position, that works as well. You can have that needle down, and it helps sometimes when you're starting and stopping to not pull the fabric out. Bottom there now, and you're just going to do a back stitch. Okay, come straight on. Okay, that's it, lovely. Alright, there we are. Right, whilst we're here at the sewing machine, I'm just going to stitch from here, just this piece here. I'm going to stitch up just where it sort of comes and it starts to move up. We're going to stitch up and around here with 2 rows of tacking stitch. So I'm going to go back to my biggest stitch again, which for me is a number 7. I'm going to pop it down on there, and I'm going to come all the way around. Take your time. So I'm doing this at 3/8 of an inch. When I get to here, I'm going to stop. Okay, and I'm going to pull it out and leave myself a long end. Okay, so I've got that at 3/8, and then I'm going to come in. I'm going to, oh, I'm out of spool. I will just redo a spool. So I'm just going to come in, just above it. So I want to come in and put it so that I'm going to do it so it's a 1/4 of an inch. And on my foot here, on this particular one, it goes there, and that's where the 1/4 of an inch is on that foot. So I'm just going to come around again, nice and slow. Keeping that, and you lift it and move it if you want to, or you can try to just move it around with your fingers as you go around. And it might be a good idea when you are doing this, if you have the needle in the down position, you can then pick that up and move that, and that stitch will stay there. And move it again, and that stitch will stay in the right position. Okay, so that's that one done. Let's do the next one. We're just going in that bit where it's just that curved bit, where it just starts to curve there. So first of all, we'll go in at the 3/8. And I'm just turning it very slowly with my fingers, or you can move it each time if you want to. It's not so bad on this one. You've got a little bit more wiggle room, but on that second one, when you're coming in doing it at 1/4 of an inch, it gets a bit tighter, harder to move it around. I'm just getting, cotton's got stuck down behind. I don't really want to sew over that cotton if I can help it, because it just makes it, it's just a pain. So I'm coming in here again. Take no notice, that's just my machine, it does that because it's an embroidery machine. So that's that one done. So that's a lot of the prep done. I'm going to bring over, make sure you leave a nice long end on it. I'm going to bring over my bodice piece now. So make sure you turn your stitch back now to your normal stitch. So we have our bodice, here it is, like that, and we're going to just pop our shoulders together like this, and you can do, if you want to, you can pop a pin into it, 1 and 2, just like that there. Okay, and then we're just going to stitch right across those 4 shoulder seams. So I'm going to pop it on there. I'm going to swap my foot now because I'm going back to the other foot, and I just if I put it on with my 1/4 inch foot, it just reminds me to do a 1/4 inch foot hem or seam, because when you do it on the other foot, I forget sometimes and do a 3/8, and then you have to pick it out because it won't fit the doll if it's on 3/8. So I'm just going to pop that across, back stitch, and then straight the way across. Okay, and the next one. Now these are quite fiddly, they're small, so you just want to keep that in there, go across, back, and then across again. Oops, I think it's moved a little bit. It has, let me just check that out. Yeah, I don't like that, let's take that out and do that again. I'll carry on with this one a second and then I'll unpick that one. You know I hate unpicking. Right, let's go again. And then straight across. And a little back stitch there. And then over this side. Ooh. Just going to have the babies just coming in, but I'm just going to quickly finish this last shoulder. She's just woke up, so I'll just quickly do a last stitch over there, and then I'll stop. We're going out for lunch now, so that'll be really nice. Try to take her out for lunch on a Sunday if we can. Right, and then I'll unpick this last piece. She always wakes up really moody and it takes her like 10 minutes to wake up. So I'm just going to unpick that little bit I did there and redo that. With doll's clothes more, you really do have to be a little bit more precise, because you are working with such a small measurements. Straight across and finish it off with a back stitch. Okay, so that's all your prep done. Next we can start on doing the other pieces. Let's just take them all off and we are finished. So what I've just been doing is I've just finger pressed the bodice open. So that is my right side of the bodice facing up. And I'm going to attach my 2 sleeve pieces onto this now. So just need to look at it, and when you look at it you need to put it on so that the this is the wrong side where the lip piece is there, like that, and it needs to go on like that. Okay, so you're putting it onto it like that. So to pin it, we're going to pin it on like that there. Just going to fold it in half, grab my pen and make a mark here just where the edge is, like that, and I'll do that on both of them. So I've done that on the wrong side so you won't see it. But I'm just going to do that right on the very centre piece there, so we know that that is the centre. So when we put it on, we need to make sure it goes on like that way around, okay? We'll just pin those 2 pieces together like this. It's a bit fiddly, but you should be able to do it okay. So just come in. Don't need that many pins in here, so I'm going to put that one in the centre, and I'm going to put that on there. Now we've got this tack in the stitches. If you find that you need to, it looks like it's going to lay absolutely flat, but if you find that it is a little bit not quite right for the size of your circle, you can pull those in, or pull it in just a little bit on your tacking stitches, just to tighten that side up just the most tiniest piece. Okay, so tighten the arm in and just gather that around so that goes in just like that, and it's very, very little you need to do. Okay, but it's just there to help you get that into that right position. So I'll just come in and pin that one and pin that one. I want this laying flat. So as you can see, it's just the tiniest little bit I've gathered it on this side. And sometimes you'll find that on the other side you need to gather a little bit more, but it should be okay. I've got here. Sort of lining those two edges up, pop a pin in. And I prefer to do it like this. If you want to, you can do all three pieces together with the burrito method. I am going to just gather that just a teeny bit. One. I'll give my other thread that too. I'm just going to gather it just the tiniest little bit. Just a teeny bit. That's it. Sort of spread those gathers out. Should get a nice fit in there. I haven't made this too puff sleeve because you've got all those ruffles, and I think it would probably look a bit silly with all those ruffles in it. Line that piece up, and what you can do is when you get up here to the top, is just take that pin out which you had in the centre and just sort of spread those gathers around so they're a bit even, okay? And then we'll pop a pin back in there. So I'm just going to come along, we've got this pinned on, this is our shoulder seam. I'm just going to come along with this, and I'm going to just do a tacking stitch the whole way along. I need to get that in the right position, pop that down, slip that out, and I need it to be exactly on that edge, okay? So I'm putting it on my biggest stitch, and I'm going to come around and just tack this all the way on. This will just help me to work with this inside. It's a bit fiddly. You don't have to do this if you think that you can just manage to do it without tacking this piece on, that's fine as well. Okay. You can just do it with the pins, and I've done videos before where I've showed you how to do that. If you go back and look at the some of the witch's dress and things like that, you'll probably find that I've done that there. And keeping that straight there, just pull that one around. Don't do back stitch because this is just a tacking stitch, so we're just basically holding that in place. So what we need to do with this one is we need to stitch the other side onto it. So what I'm going to do now is place this one on the other arm, and then we're going to just stitch right around it. Sorry about that. Right, so this one needs to go on so that you've got that one there, and you're going to put it like that. We're going to join that red mark up there. I kept thinking, what am I doing wrong? I just realised I only had one piece of the bodice. I should have had the two. So I'm just going to quickly pin this on here and here. I couldn't work out why it kept going so strange. Just give me a tiny gather on those gatherings. Stitches there. Let's place that in place like that. There we go, and then the next one. And you want those two layers to be laying one exactly on top, the top one exactly on top of that one underneath, okay? So you want to make sure they're all lined up nicely. Do the same on this side. Join those two ends there. Okay. So it's just pinning it exactly the same way as we've just done, pin the other side in really. Just doing it here rather than move the camera and everything. At the moment I only have one camera, it's quite an expensive camera. Hopefully in the future I'll be able to get another boom and another camera. That would really help me to be able to get a nice enough, a lot better filming in that setup. Right, so we're just going to come around again and tack this around again. So we're still on that, the biggest stitch, my number 7, but whatever is your biggest stitch on your machine. Don't put a back stitch in. Come across. Okay, all the way around that outside. Making sure that bottom piece is laying flat because I don't want any tucks or anything in it. There we go. Make sure that's laying flat. And that'll just hold that in place, and we can take those stitches out in a bit. But the next thing we're going to do now is just place this other piece of interfacing, this other piece of bodice on top of it. So we've got that one is the right side up, so we're going to put this one with the right side down, okay, like that. But what we're going to do is we are going to pin this top piece here, is going to go onto here like this. So that piece is going to go that way round, so that you should have the two seams, one on the bottom and one on the top. Alright, so I'm going to join the two seams up like that, just here, one there. You can open your seams if you prefer to do that, and then we'll just come in and we'll do this, but we'll make sure when we sew this one, we will sew it on a with an ordinary stitch. So whatever your ordinary stitch is, do not sew it with your tacking stitch, because it will just pull out. It won't hold whilst it's being pulled around, it'll just come away. So make sure you've got all three layers lined up together. Pop in your pins, and you want to do that to both pieces, okay? Hoping you can see this. I think I'll take it back to the table a minute and do this at the table, so I'm not sure how well you can see it. So I've just brought it back over to the table because I'm not sure how well you could see that actually over there. I'm not sure that was a good shot of it. So basically what we're doing is we're just coming around and making sure all three of those pieces are lining up together, and then just pinning them together. I'll show you on the other side in a second. So that's that one. Right, let's come around to the other side. So here is, so that's our new piece of top we're putting on, and that's laying face up, and then we're bringing this piece round. I'm getting a bit tangled up here, aren't I? Can't find it now. Where am I? That's on that side. This is going on this side. That's it. And that piece is going on there like that. So that piece of arm needs to be folded down inside, and where the two seams meet, we're going to place them together in the middle like that. Okay, there you go. Okay, that's in the middle, and then we're coming in here, and this is, it's a little bit tricky, you need to sort of wiggle it to get it into the right position. And we're just going to come in and pin this all the way, just the same as we've just done on the other side. So this is all pinned together like a sandwich with that arm piece in the middle. Okay, my arm piece is coming out a little tiny bit there. Not too worried about that, it's only a teeny weeny bit popping out there. As long as it lays flat, that should be okay. Alright, so keep coming around. So I'd really like some comments on what you think about this whole outfit. I haven't had any comments yet about the outfit. It'd be really great if you could let me know what you think of it. I'd like to know whether I'm on sort of the right track with what I'm doing with the children's and the dolls' clothes, because the kids, my granddaughters have asked if they can have the same, whereas I was just making them for the dolls. The girls have actually said they really want them to, they want to have a dress themselves, so that would be really good. So that's all those pieces done. So I'm just going to take them back to the sewing machine now and just stitch right the way across, put a back stitch here and a back stitch there. Okay, so you've got both sides to do. Alright, so let's go and do that. So I've just got the foot on, and it's just on the very edge there. I'm going to try and keep this as flat as I possibly can as I go around. So I'm coming on, I've gone back to my normal stitch, so do that if you haven't gone back yet. Come on, and then do some back stitches, and then we're going to go all the way around. Keeping that nice and flat if you can. There's a bit of a lump there, so I'm just going to pull those layers around, and I'll pull that bottom layer as well, And I can feel it now, there's nothing there, okay? So move it around again. Make sure there's no lumps or bumps or anything underneath there. Okay. Come to the next bit. Yeah, take that pin out. Got a bit of a thing there. Right, okay, keep going. That's it. And this is a bit fiddly, this bit here, because it is, you've got lots of layers and one's wanting to go this way and one's wanting to go that way, and it's just a bit tricky to get it all lined up. Come in here and just press that so that that's laying nice and flat. There you go, and do a back stitch. And then we will do exactly the same on the other side. Under the foot, right on the edge there, make sure that's laying nice and flat. Come on a little bit, back stitch, come all the way around. Okay, take the pins out as you get right, just as they get to that foot you want to take the pins out. Okay, that'll keep it held in place. It's no good taking a pin out sort of half a mile beforehand, because that'll just stop it from keep holding it where it's supposed to be. Okay, let's just straighten that piece up there. That's moved right down there a little bit. Just going to pull that back so that's in the right place. So, make sure you don't get any tucks if you can help it. Okay, and then catch this very last bit. Just like that there. Okay, and do a back stitch. Okay, now what you want to do now is just to come around and check that you've got no tucks. So you just go all the way around and check there are no little tucks anywhere, and there isn't. It's nice on that side, it's fine. This will be your outside piece, and can you see I've got a tuck? So what I'm going to do is just come back, I'm going to unpick that tiny bit there, straighten that piece out and then lay that there, and I've got another tuck on that side, so I'm going to just unpick that tiny bit there and do that. So just go and do those two pieces. There's my quick unpick. Just going to unpick those two little tiny bits to get those tucks out. You don't want to tuck if you can help it. It just looks like it's wrong. So that's just, I've got about 4 stitches underneath my foot there, so I'm just going to come on and do a couple forward and then a couple backwards just to hold that in place. And I'm going to come up and I'm going to go just over the top of this little piece here. That's where it joins up there. And I'm going to just do a couple stitches backwards. And that should, I haven't got rid of that tuck. Let's have a look. Hasn't, I'll just unpick it and do it again. That is the most fiddly bit. Can you see it's all gone? It's got a lovely nice and laying flat. Okay, so I shall just go over and check there are no other tucks, and if there are I'll just put a little few stitches on it, but I think that's fine now. Okay, we'll just go back and do the next piece.